Welcome back, guys, to our homeschool series. Thank you so much for watching part one. And now you're about to get into part two of this series.
Xiomara and Melanie, breaking it down with grace, healing hearts, lifting souls in this sacred space. From faith to the mind, they will guide you through. God's love is the answer, and the love is true. Now hit that like, don't let it slip by. Subscribe to the channel, let's reach for the sky. Drop a comment, let us know what you feel. Join the fam at the pause, we're keeping it real.
The mama bears have to come out of hibernation.
Thank you.
And just begin to roar.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
We got too comfortable.
Yeah.
We got too comfortable and just okay, number one thing that people don't want to do homeschool. And let's be honest, it's a lot of work to do homeschool.
Yes.
And some mothers don't want to do it because why?
I was just telling her that you have to put in the work.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
We were talking about it in the car. You have to put in the work. We've gotten too comfortable with letting other teachers, which I take off my hat to the teachers that truly care.
Yes, yes.
Because I have family members that are teachers in the public school, you know. And so I take off my hat to those teachers that truly care,
Yes,
you know, for our children.
yes, yes.
But the majority of them, I'm just getting a paycheck. I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
This is not my child. I don't have to deal with you,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So it is hard work, but we have to put in the hard work,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Just like she said, Mama Bear, you have to be. I know that homeschooling takes a lot of work because why? You're with your children all day long, and then you have to teach them as well. I know that. When was it? When COVID happened,
2020.
you guys had to do it, right?
We loved it.
Okay, but you guys were already in
Yeah,
it.
for me, 2020 was like, I don't know. It wasn't.
It any different.
It wasn't.
You know, that was the time to start grabbing people.
I actually love being with my kids.
Yes.
Any moment, like, for me, my best moments are when I'm with them, when we're together, you know? And, you know, there is no, oh, like, I can't wait, like, for them to leave.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I don't get a break in that sense. I have a husband that helps me, right?
Yeah.
So I do get a break, you know, when I'm overwhelmed, I'm allowed to say, hey, you know, take over, etc. But we don't get a break, you know, but I think it's a blessing.
Well, it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
Because God gave them to you. He
entrusted
lent
us.
them to you. He entrusted them to
Yeah.
you for you to create in them the next generation of powerful, anointed children.
We've been anointed to form and shape the character of our children.
Yes, yes.
And a lot of times we forget that. You know, I think motherhood sometimes, because it overall it could be tiring,
Yeah.
but it's so rewarding. You know, when we see our children in just excelling and in the plans of the Lord and being purposeful, like that is, I believe, the biggest reward. You know, that as parents we are to see ahead for the future. But just to know that these moments are precious. We only get them small for such a small time.
Yeah,
You know, such a small time. We get to build that bond.
Yeah.
Homeschooling helps us build the bond between the family, the siblings.
Yeah.
They get to bond with each other. They
Make
are
it
their
stronger.
best friends.
Make
Yeah.
it stronger, you know, like build that foundation,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we can see that. I can see that. I say that because when they came to camp last year and they were downstairs and the teacher was teaching them, her children were the ones that were sitting upright and listening and asking questions and very respectful. You could tell the difference between a homeschool child and a child that goes to school. I can tell the difference. Jasmine and I were discussing that day that we spoke with you.
I was telling her that because we homeschool and they've never been anywhere else, we don't see the difference in the sense of
Okay.
like within our children.
Uh-huh.
And then but other people are like, hey, there's something different about them. And it's not just because they're homeschooled, because it is the fact that we use that time to cultivate the spiritual aspect in their lives.
Yes.
So it's not just education.
Yeah.
It's education plus the spiritual aspect of it. What else can we impart in them so that they know that there will be the light in the midst of darkness.
Yeah.
And it's not just, we're not just sheltering them, but I know that when they go to the outside, the way the people see it when they go to the outside, because
Right.
they're in a bubble. No, they're not in a bubble, but when they experience talking to other people, you're able to see the way that they're learning at home. It makes a difference. It's impactful when you incorporate the biblical aspect in the curriculum.
Well, like you said, parents need to know prophetically what their child is called to do. So when you're spending time with them and you're educating, also in the spiritual sense, the Lord will also reveal to you what your child was called to
Yeah.
do.
At home, we embrace being able to be artistic. Like, creativity is highly embraced. They're creative kids, they're innovative kids, they're inquisitive kids. We embrace that because that's part of who they are. And as a children, they begin to kind of develop different likes and different things that they aspire to be. So that is the area where we begin to kind of touch into different areas that they want to do, whether it be, they want to own their own business. Go ahead. They want to be doctors. I'm here for you. What can we do? So whatever, what sparks their minds, we're able to say, hey, let's look into that. Let's guide you into that. Is that, whatever comes in their mind sometimes, it's like, hey, let's go. Let's go for it.
You give them the chance, that space,
The
that
space.
safe space.
Yes.
To be creative, to dabble in certain
To
things.
discover.
Yes,
Yeah,
to see if I like this. Okay, Mom, I don't like this. Let's move on to the next thing. Yeah, that's good.
No.
Do you want to say anything before?
No, I think that's beautiful, and just being able to like have that, like you said, safe space that where they're like, and if I don't like it, I'm able to move on and try the next new thing, and that's okay, right? Because I feel like in public education, or just in education in general, it's very like portrayed that you have to choose one thing, and that's what you should stick with, and
Their,
there's
their
no.
goal is for you to make it to college.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
you don't make it to college, then
Then you're
I guess you're a
nothing.
failure.
Yeah, like
Uh-huh.
you're nothing. And it's not only like college, it's just like you have to stick to one thing. Like, what is it that you want to do, and make sure you pull through. Like, you can't be over here exploring many different things. And it's like, why not? And especially when they're children, because like you said, they're exploring what they like, what they don't like, what they want to do. And how can you know what you want to do if you haven't tried it out?
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, what if there's something out there that you might like, and maybe that's what you're going to excel at, but you just haven't tried it, right? So it's important to give that opportunity to our children to try different things, and kind of go into different things and just try it out. And if it doesn't work out, then that's okay.
Yep. We would say, okay, let's move to the next thing.
Yeah.
What else
And-
can we try?
And you're building that yourself for them, which is the best thing.
Childlike wonder.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's beautiful.
how does your typical day look like? Like, do you homeschool every day? How many hours a day? And what does it look like?
Well, we're in summer, so it's not a cookie cutter. Like, I can't tell you, like, I can't give you a formula.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is, wake up at, at this time, every day is different, and especially in the summer, because if we want to go outside, then we go outside. We want to go take a day to the park, then we go to the park. And they're still learning, you know. Um, so I mean, we have structure, but I don't have like a set schedule in a sense, Sometimes we start at 10 a.m., sometimes we start at 12 p.m. you
That's
know?
great.
We eat our breakfast in peace at the table together, and they all learn different. So one it needs one-on-one time, the other one it's more disciplined, and he can sit at a table, at a table and do his work. So every day is different,
With every kid is
with
different.
every kid is different, and no, I don't homeschool every day. um I would say out of the whole week, maybe like 4 days a week.
Okay.
Then like we'll take one day, we'll take a break. Well, this week we took like 2 or 3 because we went to our friend's
Well, it is
pool.
summer, so even in public
Yeah.
school, they're on vacation right now. So
Yeah.
it's not like they're in
So
school.
because we're homeschooling, like we still learning, like they'll still read their books.
Okay.
We still do different activities
Okay.
that they learn. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not.
I feel like that can be the biggest challenge. But like at least, I always say this when I'm in the show. I'm like, I won't speak for anyone else, right? I can only speak for myself. But at least based on people that I've spoken to, right? And at least from what I think, when it comes to homeschooling, I think that one of the hardest part is that it's not that so much that you don't want to do it, right? It's so much of like what time do I have to do it, right? Because we live in a society where we work a 9 to 5 job. And it's like, if you work a 9 to 5, when can you homeschool your kid? Right. So, and if you like, if they don't go to school, then where are they going to stay? Right. Because going to school, at least for me, like, that's basically the only thing that's like holding them in there because I'm like, I don't know where I would put them, right? I don't know who would take care of them during that time, right? It is, I'm working 9 to 5, at least them being in school 9 to 3 gives them only 2 hours to find out who's going to take care of them during those 2 hours, right? So I think that can be one of the biggest challenges for parents out there that are like, I would love to homeschool, but how can I do that if I have my own job? And most of the jobs that we have, unless you have the privilege to have your own business, that you really work a 9 to 5. And during that is usually when you're like, okay, and I come home and, the last thing they want is, to see mommy just for you to, homeschool them. Like, they want to spend time with you, or you, at least you want to do that with them. So what would you say to those parents that are like, have that struggle? I don't know if you guys have a job, or like at least touch a little bit on that so that, they can feel a little bit of encouragement, or maybe something that helps them figure it out, because they might want to.
So, one of the things that early on I had to do before making the decision was, what am I willing to sacrifice?
Mm-hmm.
Am I willing to sacrifice a career, a job, and then on the other side, my children? So for me, I can only speak for myself. That was like one of the things I said, you know what? I'm not willing to sacrifice my kids
Mm-hmm.
for X, Y, and Z. And that meant I had to live within the means. I had to learn how to budget. I had to learn to kind of like, hey, these are my limitations. And those are the things that kind of kept me grounded, is knowing that I didn't want to sacrifice my children's spiritual life, their education, for having a 9 to 5 job.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunity was there.
Yeah.
I said no to many opportunities. I had just finished graduating from college. Opportunity was lined up, and it's like, do I do this now or do this later? So I chose to go through that path, and I knew that it came with sacrifices, not just my time, but also my finances.
Yeah.
So I had to understand that first, and let that sink in, and know that because God was calling me, I knew that He was going to provide, He was going to equip, and He was going to prepare me for it.
Yeah, like she said, if God opens the door for you to be able to do it, um, then you have to make that. It's your choice.
Yeah.
Like we were talking, homeschooling is a choice.
Yeah.
Motherhood is a spiritual calling,
Yeah.
right? So if God opens the door for you to do it, then do it. But I know that there are parents that maybe they don't have that access, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like I said in the beginning, I think, you know, it becomes just being that present parent. You know what I mean? Just, I know that not every parent has not the ability. They don't have the means, right? They have to work that 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And I think that's understandable, right? But I also think that there is grace for that as well,
Yeah.
right? There is grace for those parents that cannot homeschool, and that's okay,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
as long as you're that present parent, you know,
Right.
as long as you're that vigilant parent.
Yes.
Because I do know parents that, you know, they don't homeschool their kids, you know, but they are that present parent. They are very aware,
Of what's
you
happening.
know,
What's
what's
happening
happening.
at
And if they have to
school.
go to the school, they will show up at the school,
PTO moms.
you know.
Yeah, yeah,
You're a mama bear regardless whether you're
yeah,
homeschool or not
yeah,
homeschooling,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
you know. So
So you guys, with those parents that can't, right? And they do want to have a safe place for their children. Have you ever, I mean, I don't know how homeschooling works. Like, I don't know if it's just, you stay in your house and you do it, but do you guys mix in with other mothers and
Yeah.
and share or teach different things? Each mother teaches something different. Is there something that goes, is there a program like that?
There's a lot of co-ops.
Okay.
So, every household chooses either to be part of a co-op and also community. There's different communities with homeschoolers that come
Okay.
together, not just for education, but to
Right.
socialize, to spend time together.
Right.
And if there is a particular subject that I may be struggling with, I could reach out so and so. Hey, what curriculum are you using? So there is a community. There's a community that's out there that's willing to help. There's so many women that are willing to help. Women
Yeah.
and also men that are willing to help and pour the wisdom.
Yeah, there's a lot of co-ops. Some you have to pay, some are for free. Social media nowadays, it's like
It's
a
out.
big
Yeah.
resource. You
Yeah.
could search out what if your kid is interested in outdoors and hiking and and what do they call it? Scavenger hunt.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
There's even a co-op for that. You
So the
know,
moms have to be there. You can't just like drop off your kid, somebody's
Some
house.
do.
some do, some
Okay.
do.
Some do.
Right.
So home education, one of the things about homeschooling is it's home education, but it's not limited to being at home.
Okay.
It goes beyond the four
Yeah,
walls of the
yeah,
house.
yeah.
That's something that we love because we could, hey, what are you doing today, Jen? You want to go to the beach? Okay, let's
Right.
find out everything there is about the beach. We're
Uh-huh.
gonna research everything there is.
Mhm.
A
How-
lesson.
a lesson. Everything is a
Right.
lesson. Everything is a lesson, and it doesn't have to happen in the morning.
Just
There's
learn
time
about
that
the
is at
ocean.
night. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's times that homeschool is off, your regular typical 7 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
It could be at 8 at night.
Mm-hmm.
It could be at 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it looks that way in my household because of our lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have to kind of look at
Shift
tweak.
around.
Yeah, tweak it around. Be flexible. It shows us to be flexible, for our children also to be flexible, and for them to know that, hey, maybe not right now is going to happen, but we know, there's going to be a lesson. There's always room to learn
Yeah.
and for lessons to be built.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it takes off that pressure of having to meet, a certain quota.
Like that routine.
Yeah,
that
I have to
schedule.
meet this,
Yeah.
this test or this percentage, and if I don't reach that, then I'm considered,
Not smart.
not smart, or
Not good enough. Yeah.
unfortunately, that's what happens in public school, you know. And I think homeschool gives you the ability to say, okay, well, it's okay if you're not reading at this level. We'll take our pace. We got to work a little bit more here, and that's okay. We can stay here for as long as you need with no pressure.
It's a one-on-one.
It's one-on-one.
They don't feel like
know,
left out.
They don't
Right.
feel like, oh my God, I have that
Singled
pressure that if
out.
I don't
Yeah, yeah.
finish,
Yeah, yeah.
then I won't make it.
So, okay,
That's
you
great.
have different age groups.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you handle that?
Sometimes, like she was mentioning, particular kids, you have the one that needs the one-on-one and the other one that is, hey, boom, boom, bam. They just get it done and like, I'm done. So with those, I'm like, okay, I come to you and I'll check and I'll spend some time with you. With the other one, I have to spend more time. So sometimes we have a round table. Well, actually, it's a rectangle table, but we call it the round table in a
Uh-huh.
sense of like, this is the space that we have where we homeschool, and we all, we're all gonna be there.
Mhm.
There's different subjects going on.
Uh-huh.
So we do place our own little boards of like, hey, this is my side. So we do create a space for them. Also, they can go to any part of the house, if they feel like, hey, I need my space, any side of the house, they're encouraged to do so. And also incorporate learning together. Bible learning, we can do that together. We could talk together on certain topics. History, we could learn together. Science, we learn all together. So a lot of the subjects we learn all together.
Together. So it's not different age group, like different lessons for different age group. It's just one.
Yes.
Okay.
In
Yeah.
certain ones,
Well,
certain
yeah.
certain subjects.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
because there are certain things. Yeah.
Yeah, like I do science
Science
together.
can be one that you can
Yeah.
do together. Like, for example, reading is something like someone can be more advanced in reading than obviously
Yeah.
like a
So
3-year-old.
I'll have my oldest kid like, okay, like you read this,
for them.
for them,
Oh,
or the
that's
middle,
great.
the middle child. But arithmetic and language arts, well,
It's
they're in different grades.
Right,
So
so it's
that's the
different.
individual.
The homeworks look different.
Yeah, the homework looks different.
They get homework.
Well,
We call it homework.
they do have a
but it's their work.
responsibility to finish the work.
I mean, they're already home.
That's a must. Like, we get to have fun, but you have a responsibility to finish your work.
Okay.
And if they
Okay.
don't, do you guys have you had to discipline them regarding any schoolwork or stuff like that? Like, have they gotten comfortable to the point where they're like, I'm homeschooling, so my mom won't yell at me if I don't do this.
There's times where they like, okay, maybe I can do this tomorrow. So they try
Yeah.
to push their timeline, and
Okay,
they
okay.
are so one in particular, he needs a schedule set up for him. He gets it because that's how he learns. So there's different learning styles.
Yeah, yeah.
And with him,
You work
if
with
a
that.
structure is not there, there might be some room
He
for kind of
slacks. Yeah, yeah.
deviates from it.
Mhm.
But I know because he works that way, I need to set
That you have to
structures.
keep
Yeah,
them.
yeah. And then the other one is like, okay, this is what you got to do. He's like, okay, mom, sits down, does it, get it done, no complain, done.
Right.
So
It's different.
It's
Learning
different.
styles.
Learning
And
styles
they
are
do.
different.
They do have different
and
learning
as
styles.
their
And you have to work with that.
yes, and as their mom and educator, I have to be aware of that.
Yes.
I have to. There's times I have to stop and say, okay, I need to evaluate. I need to pay attention to how they're
How they're
learning.
learning,
Versus
How they're grasping your information.
how they're grasping, how they're responding to the information that I'm giving to see if they're learning, and if there's something that is a gap there, okay, maybe we gotta work around it and come back to it.
Do you have like tests or exams, not to test their knowledge, but to kind of see like, hey, are they grasping what I'm teaching them, or what it's being taught to them? Are they holding on to that information?
So the curriculum that I use right now does have testing,
Okay.
but I'm not rigid on it.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm able to see like, okay, he needs a little bit more work on this.
Right. I mean, I
We'll
feel like
work
that's
more
what
on
it's
that.
for.
We'll stay there. We don't have to jump to the next thing right away.
Okay.
We'll just stay here as long as you need me to. My oldest requires one-on-one time,
Okay.
Then I have another one who's very disciplined, who's a go-getter. And then I have another one who's a perfectionist.
So you have all the different types.
I have all different styles, And
Yeah.
it can get challenging, but again, like I have the ability to say, okay, I'm gonna work with him. While I work with him, then you can work with this, and they could do things with their hands.
Activity,
We
yeah.
love like Play-Doh and Legos, and my house is full of Legos and all the time. And they're learning while they do that. So while I give one-on-one time, the other one
Gets to do an activity.
gets to
something
do an
else.
activity,
Yeah,
And
and
they also
one is
help
already
each other.
done.
They help each other.
They help each other.
They're the best teachers.
Yeah.
They're the best teachers because they find the little ways to remember certain things,
Yeah.
and then they teach it, to their little
their
ones.
little
I have
So-
the middle child teaching the little one multiplication,
Mm.
and he's already like, oh, and he listens. He's listening to from me giving the other one the lesson, so he's listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're capturing
Well,
already.
they're learning from you how
Yeah.
to teach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys get the curriculum from the government, or you guys
No,
pick whatever you want?
there is so much curriculum out there.
Oh,
So I mean, you have tons and tons of curriculum. So it's looking through it. Uh, we don't receive any curriculum. You can, if you want to, you can go to the district and say, hey, I would like to, get the curriculum. But then again, will it match what I'm trying to?
yeah.
So
Okay.
I
that's,
think it also goes with what your child, how he learns. Because there's certain curriculums where I've tried certain curriculums that I'm like, well, my child already learned this in first grade. And there's still certain curriculums, they're still in that grade level. So you have to kind of like, you know, see where they're at. Because certain curriculums, like my kid is in third grade, but the curriculum we were looking into was giving him stuff that he already had learned, that he was already like, so we had to like skip a lot.
Okay, so you
you
have
know,
to do your
So you have to
research.
do,
Yes.
and there's tons out there.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's some you pay, some that are
I was
free.
gonna ask that. Yeah, yeah.
So, for us, that was one of the biggest challenges at first was not having a curriculum, not having, like a paid curriculum and finding ways, hey, there's a lot of resources out there. You just
Mhm.
gotta look for it.
you don't have to stick to one
No,
either. You could,
no.
You could
you
kind
you
of
could do
combine them.
arithmetic,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, with
Com-
I like this one because it fits his needs more, and then I can mix in this one for the reading.
Okay.
You
I
could be
see.
flexible.
I see when a lot of work goes into this.
Yes, a lot
a
of
lot of
planning.
a lot of well
A
a
lot of
lot of
research.
planning and research, and that's
Yes.
what comes with teaching. It's just that nowadays a lot of teachers don't do that, right? They just think that with teaching, just you go there and you teach something basic, but right, a good
Or I think
teacher.
they don't um I think teachers in public school are fighting with the fact that I can't give myself to 30 kids.
Mm,
Yeah.
That's
that's a lot.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them for that.
No, it's
Yeah.
true.
You
And it's a
know?
lot. And it's like
Uh,
what we were just talking about. Each kid has a different learning style. Each kid has a different personality. Each kid is going to require something different. So when you have that many kids, all of that combined can overwhelm you and
Mhm.
can stress you out and
Mm.
can make you feel like whatever you do is not going to be good enough, or, just
Right.
keep it
And
like,
then you have to
don't
deal
even
with
try.
kids that unfortunately don't have the foundation at home. And you're
Yes.
throwing now you have to deal with an emotional child.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Like the
dealing with
personalities, the
anxiety.
character.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard stories, young kids at a young age already dealing with anxiety,
Yeah.
already dealing with so many emotional
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
and teachers,
They can't.
they can only do so
Yeah.
much.
Right.
Learning disabilities, and disabilities in overall.
Yeah.
Sometimes the teachers just cannot just cater to one particular student, and we have the ability that if one of our children have some type of learning disabilities or disabilities in general, that we can kind of guide them through it and be there for them one-on-one. And to me, that's one of the biggest thing is knowing that personally, as growing up in school, being a ADHD child, I was always placed in the hallway,
The outside.
in the outside. Literally, I was in the hallway, in a corner, in a closet, lights off. That was kind of what I saw growing up. It's like, hey, you talk too much, let's just put you to the side. Put to the side. So a
Yeah.
lot of children, are pushed to the side instead of realizing that, hey, maybe this person needs something specifically for them. And that's what I
Mm-hmm.
received from one teacher, maybe one or two teachers in my life,
Yeah.
that to this day I
Recognize.
recognize it was God, being
Mm.
there. And it was my second grade teacher, and she knows her too.
Mm-hmm.
My second grade teacher that said, hey, it's not that you want to be disruptive. It's just that you finish your work and you're done with it and you want to move on to the next thing. And, so all of my report cards will say AAA, but she talks too much.
Mhm.
And the discipline aspect of that was, let's put her to the side
Yeah.
instead of how can we,
Handle
Challenge
that.
her more.
challenge her
Yeah.
more.
Mhm.
And we have the abilities to challenge our children,
Mm.
where, like Jen said, hey, if they're reading in this particular level and they're already advanced, let's give them a work that challenges them.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, doesn't have to stay within the curriculum for their grade level. It could go higher.
And it doesn't have to be just like basic subjects like science, history, math, like my kid is learning about entrepreneurship, because he loves that. I see an interest in him. He asks a lot of questions, when it comes to businesses, and we're like, me and my husband are trying to like, okay, well, we see that he can thrive in that area, so we're kind of like guiding him in that area. Okay, you want to learn about this?
Eh.
He already, he wants to go to the bank and open his own bank account, and
I
you
love
know
it.
stuff like that it comes from them. That you're like, oh, okay, they're critically thinking,
Yeah,
life skills,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Something that we don't even get taught in school, anyways.
No, everything that we need in life, we don't get taught.
Right.
No. Okay, there's a we had it here in the questions, but there's one question that always comes about, because they say that homeschool children are loners. What about
Wrong.
Go ahead. I know that they're not. I seen them in action.
I've seen the evidence.
Uh-huh.
That's far,
Uh-huh.
that's a lie.
Mhm.
My kids are the most like they're more social than I am.
Yeah, they love to talk.
Um no, I mean, like she said, we don't learn just inside the four walls.
Yeah.
We go outside, we meet people, they ask questions to people,
Yeah.
um we besides church, we have other, friends, that like the same interest, or I, I mean, my kids
They're good.
they talk to strangers. I mean, I go to the store and I'm like, and they're already talking to the cashier, to the lady at the restaurant, so
No, and your son is spunky.
Yeah. So one of the things about homeschoolers is, I hear it a lot, is that they're gonna be weird. I'm like, do you remember when you were weird in school? Like that doesn't go away. That's part of your personality,
Yeah,
but that has
yeah.
nothing to do with it. It's but we love where their personalities come out
Yes.
and they're able to be themselves. And I think that's one of the things that I personally love. They can be themselves and they don't have the pressure or the peer pressure from not just a teacher, but also from other kids to say, hey, why are you acting this way? Or, this and that. But they have the freedom, the space, the safe place to be themselves, to discover the personality that is within them, and to kind of like,
Yes.
hey, own it, own it. This is the character and the traits that God has given me. How can
Yeah.
I own this? And our children, they thrive in homeschool because of that.
Mm.
I can only speak, in our case, um,
and
because
it's okay to ask questions.
yes,
Like, you're allowed to ask
yes,
questions. Please ask me all the questions.
you have a voice.
Yes.
And
Yes.
for me, that's a big one, because I grew up with like, oh, you're not allowed to talk, you know, um, always quiet, you're not allowed to ask questions unless you're given permission, So I love that about homeschool, that I want you to ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. If you ask questions, you're not wrong for
Mhm.
asking.